This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Finance ministers from the Group of Seven Club of Wealthy Nations will discuss the U.S. Biden administration's proposed price cap on Russian oil when they meet on Friday, the White House said. This is the most effective way, we believe, to hit hard at Putin's revenue, and doing so will result in not only a drop in Putin's oil revenue, but also global energy prices as well, said White House spokesperson Karine Jean-Pierre at a briefing for reporters on Wednesday. Despite Russia's oil exports hitting their lowest levels since last August, its export revenue in June increased by $700 million month-on-month due to higher prices, 40% above last year's average, the International Energy Agency said last month.
Oil prices tumbled on Thursday, as new COVID-19 lockdown measures in China added to worries that high inflation and interest rate hikes are denting fuel demand. Brent crude futures fell $2.10, or 2.2%, to $93.54 a barrel by 10:13 GMT. U.S. West Texas Intermediate (WTI) crude futures slid $1.86, or 2.1%, to $87.69 a barrel. Western world oil demand, as well as China's, is stagnant, while supplies are expanding incrementally, largely on the back of the U.S. shale boom, said Julius Baer analyst Norbert Rucker. Asia's factory activity slumped in August as China's zero-COVID curbs and cost pressures continued to hurt businesses, survey showed on Thursday, darkening the outlook for the region's fragile recovery.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
The European Commission is looking into options to cap energy prices and cut electricity demand as part of its upcoming proposals to tackle soaring energy costs, a senior European Commission official said on Thursday. Russia has slashed gas deliveries to Europe since Moscow invaded Ukraine, which has sent gas prices rocketing to record high levels and left countries scrambling to buy non-Russian gas volumes and shield consumers from soaring bills. There is work on emergency measures on electricity prices. There might be also something on demand reduction for electricity, Mechthild Wursdorfer, Deputy Director General of the Commission's Energy Department, told a meeting of European Parliament's Energy Committee.
Oil firms operating in Kurdistan have asked the United States to help defuse an upsurge in tension between Iraq's central government and the semi-autonomous region, according to a letter seen by Reuters and 3 sources. They say intervention is needed to ensure oil continues to flow from the north of Iraq to Turkey to prevent Turkey having to increase oil shipments from Iran and Russia. They also say the economy of the Kurdistan region, KRI, could be at risk of collapse if it loses oil revenues. Relations soured in February when Iraq's federal court deemed an oil and gas law regulating the oil industry in Iraqi Kurdistan was unconstitutional. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Aluminium prices stumbled to their lowest in 16 months on Thursday, while other based metals also slid on renewed worries about weak demand after downbeat factory and property data in top metals consumer China. Benchmark aluminium on the London Metal Exchange, LME, fell 2.5% to $2,300.50 a ton in official open outcry trading, its weakest since April 2021. A private sector survey showed China's factory activity contracted for the first time in 3 months in August, while nearly 70 Chinese cities reported declines in new home prices, the most since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Gold prices briefly slid below $1,700 for the first time in 6 weeks on Thursday, as major central banks stuck to an aggressive stance to combat inflation, dulling demand. Spot gold was down 0.5% to $1,701.90 per ounce by 12:28 GMT after earlier touching $1,698.70, the lowest level since July 21 for non-yielding bullion. U.S. gold futures shed 0.72% to $1,713.70. The direction of least resistance looks lower just now for precious metals, with the strong dollar continuing to weigh on the market, said independent analyst Ross Norman.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Russian wheat exports are expected to rise to 4 million tons in September from 3.5 million tons in August as the record-high crop begins to reach the market, traders and industry analysts said. The supplies from the world's largest wheat exporter will still be low compared with September last year as they contend with shipments from Europe and Ukraine, a strong ruble and problems with logistics and payments caused by Western sanctions imposed on Moscow, they added. Exports from Russia fell by 27% in July-August, the first 2 months of the 2022-23 marketing season, Sovcon consultancy said. The level is the lowest for these months since 2017-18, it added.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.